Hey friends, welcome to our first Computex booth coverage of 2019. In case you don't remember, one of our sponsors this year was ASRock, who asked us to take a look at all of their Intel offerings this year, especially the new ones that they had coming out. And while there hasn't been that much from Intel in terms of new CPUs or a whole lot of development of bringing new architecture to us, there has been some key developments on the motherboard side from ASRock, especially in their Z390 lineup. So let's talk about the major upgrades that they've made, especially to things such as the Z390 Phantom Gaming X. The biggest upgrade by far is the fact that they're now including Wi-Fi 6 and a 2.5 gigabit LAN network on these motherboards. In case you don't remember, Z390 was a chipset that brought integrated wireless to the Intel motherboards, but now ASRock is taking it a step further by bringing Wi-Fi 6 for up to 2.5 gigabits per second Wi-Fi coverage on their motherboards, which is actually pretty great. And I mean, it's an upgrade, so like it's a good thing. And then on the Phantom Gaming X specifically, they actually have a really cool design where the entire heatsink for the NVMe drives and everything kind of near the chipset is just a solid block of aluminum to help dissipate the heat from all of those NVMe drives that you might actually be using. And one of the cool features that they're now implementing is that they have I/O shields that are built into the motherboards. And while you might be saying to yourself that this is something that has been on other motherboards, they've actually taken it in a new direction by allowing a little bit of flexibility on the I/O shield itself, so that no matter what case you're putting the motherboard in, it can fit just a little bit better because of the different shapes and sizes of some I/O shields on different motherboards. Sometimes trying to jam one in that's a static I/O shield integrated into the motherboard can be a problem. ASRock is addressing this by giving it just a little bit of wiggle room on the I/O shield itself. And then on top of that, they are bringing addressable RGB lighting to the entire thing, which just makes it look frankly gorgeous. One of the better looking Z390 motherboards that's on the market, but it's not the only Z390 upgrade that they're bringing out. They also had the Gaming 6, which is a step up from their Gaming 4 lineup, which has a looks upgrade as well as a VRM cooling upgrade, and it's designed for better thermal efficiency, but has a lot of the same features as the Gaming X, just a little bit more of a toned down aesthetic, and it's still a pretty good Z390 motherboard. And then they wanted us to take a look at their Steel Legend motherboard as well. Again, Z390, a lot more cut down as far as like the RGB lighting and how the heat sinks work for the NVMe drives. There's still proper cooling there, but it's a little bit different, doesn't have the I/O shield. However, they made sure that it still has really good VRMs, better capacitors, a 16 amp choke design. They said it's a cheaper design, but it has the same quality components as their higher end motherboard. So if you're thinking about getting the Gaming X, but you can't financially afford it, the Steel Legend Z390 is actually one that you might want to take a look at. And they had a few gaming demos on display that showed us the power of everything that they had going on. The Z390 Gaming X had a gaming demo with one of the new Intel Optane H10 drives, which in case you're not familiar with those are the memory and SSD combos. So it was a 1 terabyte drive that's capable of getting 2.5 gigabytes per second on the read and 1.8 gigabytes per second on the write, but it's in the Optane form factor and it costs substantially less than having something that's just full Optane memory. So you get the caching speed of the Optane memory, but then you have the SSD capacity of a 1 terabyte drive, and then the random speeds are pretty good, but then you have everything that's going to come with the benefits of caching. And then they also had a new demonstration of a new Thunderbolt add-in card that they were displaying, which is capable of having a pass-through of the graphics card that's in the system to the internal Thunderbolt card, which would then allow you to send a Thunderbolt display out to, let's say, your Thunderbolt monitor that you have available. So in case you get an ASRock graphics card, you could use this internal connector and internal bridge to then display out to a Thunderbolt display, so that way you don't have to necessarily compromise on what display you're having, even if you don't have the Type-C connection for your graphics card, but you have it on your monitor. They've allowed for that with this new Thunderbolt 3 AIC R2.0 adapter. So that's the Intel stuff from ASRock this year. Obviously, there's no new chipset coming out. There's not a whole lot of new design, but ASRock did their best to update some designs, bring some new improvements such as Wi-Fi 6 and the 2.5 gigabit per second LAN. They're doing their best to bring some new looks into the scene when there's not a whole lot of news going on elsewhere. So with that being said, be sure to check ASRock out at the link in the video description. We want to give a big thanks to them for sponsoring our trip to Computex this year. We'll have more Computex coverage coming up. We have another ASRock video coming up as well, so be sure to get subscribed for that. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next video Computex coverage. I'm leaving, okay? These make a cool sound, by the way. I love the ringing.